Right, buddy, welcome back. Obviously, this is a very early video. There has been some breaking development on the Bruno G stuff to Manchester United. We'll be talking about what's come out, where the reports have come from, and having a conversation about Bruno G. So let's get into it. So, the reports came out yesterday that apparently Manchester United, a meeting took place with Manchester United and the agent of Bruno G. And the report from a source in Brazil is confirmed as true. Bruno Guimaraes is highly appreciated by the club along with other midfield options like Tonali and Anderson. So that's what Fabrizio said, kind of going off what came out from Brazil. So a meeting took place between the agents and Guimaraes to look at potential move of him leaving Newcastle. Manchester United did recently hold talks with the representative. He's highly admired by the football club. We kind of know that. So listen, it's certainly interesting. United are doing everything they can and being linked to a ridiculous amount of midfielders at the moment. And I think Guimaraes is definitely up there with someone who United have interest in. I think we are just exploring a lot of options at the moment, which is fine, which I think United should do anyway. We shouldn't. I know we have our priorities. Anderson is someone that's being touted about, so too Tonali, but you have to explore many options because there's no guarantee that United will sign Anderson or Tonali, so you have to look at other options. Again, Anderson looks like he's very close to going Manchester City. I think that's a deal that's been reported for months now that City and Forest are going to come to some sort of conclusion of a deal with Anderson going there. But I think for me, Guimaraes is definitely an interesting player. I think he will most certainly improve this team. Apparently, Casemiro has recommended him to Manchester United to go out and sign him. Again, it's going to be very difficult to deal with Newcastle, and it's quite surprising that he wants to leave. When you watch him play for Newcastle, he's someone who seems like he would want to stay at the club for years, but obviously he has kind of other ambitions potentially, and whether that's in the Premier League, I think Guimaraes is more likely to move in the Premier League than Tonali is at the moment. All the reports are saying that Tonali, if he is to leave Newcastle, he would go back to Italy. So listen, Guimaraes, he's 28, he's got a wealth of experience. If he can give us maybe 3 or 4 years, it'd be very, very good, and then you look at replacing him. As I said, he's more of a box-to-box player, but can operate in that deep line playmaker. I mean, if you do bring him in, would he be competing with Manu, or would you start him next to Kobbie Mainoo? How does that dynamic work? If you're talking about compatibility, you expect Kobbie Mainoo to be the main number 8 in that United position. New talks of a contract being close to being agreed, so that will kind of solidify it then. And who would play next to him? Is it Guimaraes? Is it Anderson? Is it Tonali? Is it someone else? But it's all about United for me finding that partner for Kobbie Mainoo and a backup for that number 6 position. And then you're looking at someone competing with Kobbie Mainoo, whether that is an Alex Scott, an Andre Santos, these sorts of levels of players that are probably not the most established players, but they're still decent up and coming talented players. But yeah, on Guimaraes, listen, Manchester United definitely would take him. The price is going to be ridiculous. Meetings taking place obviously does and is showing Manchester United urgency to get some sort of deal done. I think he definitely is a quality player. As I said, he operates in a number of positions for Newcastle. Their midfield is one of the best in the league when all 3 of them are fit, in my opinion. They have power, pace, strength, ball ability is fantastic. One thing as well about Guimaraes, which I always mention, he does get goal contributions. I think he's got 14 goal contributions, 9 goals and 5 assists this season. So he does chip in with that sort of side. He's a very passionate player. I just think, there would also be concern the fact that he is 28. Would United potentially go for someone younger? But the fact that, as I said, meetings took place, United definitely have interest. We know that we're exploring our options at the moment. I won't be surprised if we hear these sort of talks about a Tonali meetings taking place with Anderson, with Wharton, with Baleba, which I think meetings already took place last year. So United just exploring their options at the moment. Who do I think United will sign? I still think Baleba is like very certain to sign for Manchester United. I think he's a guy who has his heart set on the club. He's not really had many other links. Yes, it's going to be difficult to deal with Brighton, but United have done much of the groundwork last summer. But I think Guimaraes is definitely someone to look out for, and the reports are certainly always there. It's not like it's a one-time thing and then it kind of disappears. Like, the reports are consistent over the last few weeks, with now obviously a meeting taking place, United having talks. Again, I feel like once you get the go-ahead from the agent, then you can begin to speak to the club about like personal terms and all that stuff, and not close to being done. There is still obviously a few months away from the summer window, but it's all about United being prepared and being early on to these sort of things. There's no doubt Guimaraes will have competition for many clubs, City, Arsenal, potentially clubs abroad. I mean, there's talked about Real Madrid. So if United do want to get him, which at the moment they are showing a lot of intention to, they have to be very, very quick with the deal and be first in there. Again, obviously Champions League I think will be key for a player like Guimaraes, and after our recent draw against Bournemouth, I still think we will get Champions League, but again, not just for only Guimaraes, that's important for attracting other players. I think last season it was quite surprising. Actually, it wasn't surprising because Cunha and Berman was their squad all wanted to join the club. But I think Champions League is important for Manchester United to attract these sorts of players. I think if we don't get Champions League, which at this moment does look very unlikely, it would reduce the amount of players that you'll be able to attract. I think Anderson, you wouldn't be able to get in, Wharton, all these sorts of players. You'll probably only be left with Baleba and potentially younger options. So Champions League is really imperative for Manchester United to get this summer. And I'm hopeful that we can do that in the remaining 7 games that we have left. But yeah, Guimaraes, meeting took place between the agents, and the report from Brazil is true. He's highly appreciated by the club along with many other options. So we will have to wait and see what happens. But you can let me know your thoughts. Would you sign Bruno Guimaraes at Manchester United? I'm sure you would. Again, that's just the update. Meetings taking place. United are still finding out their options.